Hi, I'm Nick, and welcome to this. This is perhaps the weirdest little part of an already very weird series. This story takes place after the end of the universe and the final issue, and it is King Mob's entrance into the supercontext. It's his own personal apocalypse, as everyone experiences the end differently. The weirdest part is that it was published at the end of Volume 1, well before Grant even knew what the hell it was or had the end of the series written. It was a burst of random inspiration, and only later did he figure out where it would fit in. I felt it was just too much to tack on after the ending of Volume 3, and I wanted to preserve that ending, as it's so important to the work as a whole. But it should be included, so here it is. I took a week off after finishing The Invisibles to recharge my batteries, but I'm already well into my next project, Night's End, which will resolve my Nightfall video, and you'll get to see Bruce Wayne return to Gotham and fight the Pretender Azrael to retake the mantle of the Bat. After all this weirdness, I needed some simple heroism. But it's a fantastic story, and I think people will love it. It'll be up next weekend for sure. Now, let's begin. This isn't a story. It's not about anything. Read it if you like. Now why, in God's name, I ask you, would anyone have that printed on the side of a can of tomatoes? These people are terrorists, pure and simple, and they should be made to face the full severity of the law. The news just gets weirder every day. What else can you do? Put on the shades. Sniff the air. Face the public. I'm a false icon. The media collaborate in promoting my superficial lifestyle is somehow more valid, more worthy of attention than your real lives. You're more interested in my shoe size or who I'm shagging this week than you are in the infection vectors of the bovine spongiform encephalitis that's turning your old dad's brain into travel soap. Gideon, in your song, aggression is a well-integrated part of primate social relationships. What did you mean by sex versus non-sex versus parasite? I was taking the piss, love. Gideon, my messiah. Look at me. I can be the perfect girl. I'll do anything you've ever wanted. Anything. What's your IQ? 120. Forget it, moron. Well, you've got to leave him with a grin. Cue hallucinatronic spy punk soundtrack for the summer of Evol. And we're all policemen. The 20th century died. Yellow sex, dog popism, girlism, boyism, nowism. England wakes the awesome toys. The new model Lamborghini ripples in the heat. Its optically sensitive reflective chassis can record and play back visual images. Its quantum Polaroid engines designed by Buddhist monks extract virtually limitless energy from raw photons. So fucking what? I love the car ads. They make me feel like I'm tripping. Don't think for yourselves. Think for God. Let's start making that motherfucker's decisions for him, huh? Thanks, Chet, for that very unusual and indeed moving look at tomorrow's weather. Pornoplasm turn on. Modem the following to my World Web Hotel page. The underlying motif of human civilization is no longer suffering, but play. The crucified God image has been replaced by the New Age's dominant religious motif, a child fucking about with the building blocks of reality itself, relentlessly destroying to create. That was the best he could think of in a hurry. Let's face it, Samaritan should have asked someone else to compose the message for their new, sorry, we're at a party, answering machine service. Pornoplasm. My favorite ad is the one for pornoplasm. When we say laptop, we mean laptop. He puts the hard into hard drive. She's the personal computer who likes to get really personal. Here's the pitch. The Stepford Wives with Terminator 2 technology. A programmable sex doll with 6 gender options, hands-on identikit function, and a data storage capacity of 250 billion gigabytes. They can give you head and email your boss at the same time. This? Enhanced tits 2096. I want LA porn. I want the nerdiest guy in school transformed by a gifted surgeon's knife into a beautiful, sexy girl and exhibited as a living erotic sculpture at Dionysian ceremonies of heathen bondage. That kind of look. Thus runs the promo copy on Stargrave's latest, most frustrating sex novel. The alluring and racy cover conceals a dry marine engineering text with buzzwords like crawl space and Stephanie's first date sprinkled throughout to help maintain the erections of the surprisingly substantial audience for brainy geek to hot slut gender pretender stories. By 2012, there will be no more information. All we'll have is garbage in the system. Information is a finite resource, and we are quite simply breaking it down too rapidly. Even Shakespeare's text will have disassembled into ad jingles and Coke promos. Hamlet reduced to a 30-second pitch for Zit Cream. Were those real words, or just the incredible feat of mimicry that's made a Wisconsin family dog an overnight superstar? Hint, bet on Fido. Back after these fragrant poetic jewels from the Bhagavad Gita. Thank you, Blair. My sister still here? Yes, sir, she is. Lovely Queen Genevieve. Oh, God bless you, young master. All the kiddies love you as I do, too. More than life itself. You're all such good, wise people. I'm saving up 4 hits to take my wife and kids and myself into the DMT realm of one of those new package tours. Just like being at home, they say, with a billion more colors. The new synthetic DMTs stretch the experience out to a fortnight and they suspend your metabolism so there's no need to worry about feces, etc. Tonight's World in Reaction looks at the impact of psychedelic tourism on the inhabitants of the so-called imaginal realm. Is development of the other side, opened up by tryptamine hallucinogens, accelerating the creation and growth of what have been dubbed hyperspace ghettos, inhabited by self-transforming soul machine elf entities who now find themselves selling cheap 4D souvenirs to survive? Post-techno, the music's pure, concentrated information, stripped raw, seething with dangerous, fast-bleeding subliminals. It is the dance music what crack is to cocaine. I joined the army because my father made me feel impotent and vulnerable. My self-esteem was so low that in order to find any security at all, I required the simultaneous physical empowerment and psychological castration that military training entails. Coke, not blood, flowed from the saint's veins. I still submit to strong authority figures whom I simultaneously hate, respect, and cringingly obey, but now I can vent my frustration and envy in a culturally approved way against the currently designated opponents of my government's ideology. Be like him. Join the army, for God's sake. Gideon, you made it. By and large. How are things, Professor? They're still searching for a unified field theory of consciousness, I hear. Ah, they'll never find it. Take it from an old fraud. Mapping the human psyche is all very well, but nothing beats the thrill of sobbing like a baby, while a cold, merciless Fraulein insults my intelligence and uses my books as toilet paper. Neurovision Song Contest winner Xandor L. Dopa from Neobelique performing his hit Before the Wheel, Were There Revolutions? Later, Xandor will be telling us all about the man he killed with a dart, fair and square. Gideon, what's the new look? Punk panto? Adam and his ants? What have you come as? Gesture of goodwill, sis. You don't look much like one. Listen, you made it just in time for my announcement. The new Aeon starts here. Ecstasy is one of the new generation MDMA derivatives with molecules designer sculpted using one of the new 4D dimensional witch tech processes. The drug deprograms the entire musculature. Yeah, I heard a new black hole's appeared in the sky. It's like shape changing, but you can always spot a ecstasy user on the morning after. They look like stroke patients. At last, I'm truly a woman. Everybody, I'm having a lovely little baby. Well, actually, I've had a little devil. Gaze upon my works, ye mighty, and despair. Which was a poetic cue for England's lyricist laureate Fu Mangrove, ex-lead singer for high TC superconductivity in ceramics, to unveil both the prettiest, pinkest, most sweetly vulnerable Union Jack you ever saw, and his latest Meisterwork. The flag of things like a virgin given birth, a nun fertilized by a comet. A shoddy way to treat your mom. Wouldn't it just be kinder to put some species out of the misery? We later discovered that all his best-selling thoughts had been composed by an experimental monkey named Stephen, which lived in chronic pain and liked to take out its grief on a handy keyboard. Bless my soul, here's 3 wise men from the East. Not wise men, but 3 Western boffins come to satisfy our cold intellectual curiosity about the pomp and pageantry surrounding the prophesied birth of the global village idiot. Haven't you ever wanted children of your own, Gideon? Only one of those little white-haired spooks from Village of the Damned. Who was the lucky dad? Big Bird? Or the terrifying rock from Seven's Voyage of Sinbad? You've seen Jurassic Park, haven't you? Tyrannosaurus spunk, Gideon. In vitro at the Feast of Beltane. Witch trials, confessions at midnight, that sort of thing. His spend is cold, they used to say. Bloody right. Straight out of cryogenic storage. Imagine, it'll be some sort of appalling satanic atavism, part human, part dinosaur. Can't you just see it leading the world into a new dark age of corporate techno-barbarism? Not what's got those funny little arms, it won't. Nobody will ever take it seriously. Ah, but Hitler had his silly mustache and still pulled the birds, Mr. Stargrave. Take Abel Braun, for instance. Try to look on the bright side, my son. Like that marvelous scene from the end of Rosemary's Baby. Now that you mention it, Archbishop. Oh, I'll bet he's got his father's eyes. It's just like in the film. Isn't this creepy? Third world children are plentiful. Fossil fuels are scarce. We have to burn something. I've got my father's eyes. They're right here if anybody wants to see them. Strange how only they survived the cremation. Speech. It's the dawn of the twin aeon of Horus and Matt. Somebody must have something to say. Go on, Gideon. I'm in my 3rd bottle of Stoli. You announce the arrival of the new millennium. I know you always wanted to. Well, all right. I'll try. I'm not much good at speeches. I love my sister. I love her hideous demonic child. I love Big Brother. Happy anti-Christmas, one and all. Rule Britannia. He'd always wanted to ask Jerry Halliwell what it was like for her to become, at the exact instant the camera caught her, a goddess, a living archetype, Britannia's final mini-skirted fling before the chronicalism. Poor Jerry went fully digital in an attempt to defibrillate her career. She had a brief, scandalous fling with Deep Blue, but tragedy struck in the end when a heartless and opportunistic computer virus ate her consciousness during one final, poignant HAL 9000-style rendition of Mama. Pop, like Kronos the Titan, always eats its darlings. I suppose we should announce the nativity to the world. It's only fair. Gives them a chance to prepare their defenses. I'll go. I fancy one last look at the old place before it disappears forever. Time to shut down the game with the appropriate flourish. The big photo finish. Silicon, don't you understand? This is the new Stone Age. Stargrave snaps his fingers, and speakers all over the city play spy music. Peas sure sound divine. 3D hologram Bond girls fill the sky, taller than buildings. Somewhere off stage, the baby emerges, roaring and swearing. And Jesus said, "Hands up, who's seen Star Trek The Next Generation, the holodeck?" Whereupon Thomas called the doubters spake, saying, "Jesus, the goddamn thing's on TV every 5 minutes. What's the point?" Saith the Lord, "The point is this. We're on the holodeck. The universe is a holodeck, and we are being played." The disciples shook their heads and tried in vain to interpret what they took, mistakenly, to be symbolic language. Gideon Stargrave hits the opening credits at light speed. Everyone's a paparazzo. Every blue lens blinks like an eye and turns his way. So, what's it like being rich and famous? Matter to energy. The whole solar system burns to ash in the expanding nova of 10 billion simultaneous flashbulbs. Nice and smooth. The end.